The day I married my best friend's widow, the sky was gray and heavy, as if the world itself wasn't sure this was the right thing to do. There were only 5 people in the small courthouse room. The judge, the clerk, Sarah, her 6-year-old daughter Lily, and me. No music, no flowers, no celebration, just quiet footsteps and the soft echo of papers being signed. Sarah's hands trembled slightly as she held the pen. Her eyes were tired in a way that comes from too many sleepless nights. Lily stood beside her, holding a small stuffed rabbit that had once belonged to her father, my best friend, Mark. A year earlier, we had been sitting together in a diner, laughing about nothing important. Mark had always been the kind of man who filled a room with warmth. Loud laugh, easy smile, the type of person who remembered everyone's birthday and never let a friend face a problem alone. Then one rainy night changed everything. The accident came out of nowhere. A truck driver who fell asleep for a few seconds. A red light ignored. A phone call at midnight that shattered 3 lives in one breath. Mark never made it home. After the funeral, the world kept moving like nothing had happened. But Sarah's world stopped. Bills piled up. The house felt colder. Lily asked every night when her daddy was coming back. I tried to help where I could, groceries, fixing the heater, picking Lily up from school when Sarah had to work double shifts at the diner. But slowly I realized something worse was coming. One evening, Sarah sat across from me at the kitchen table, her eyes red from crying. "They're going to take the house," she whispered. The bank had denied every request she made. Mark had been the main income, and without him the numbers didn't work. She was drowning and no one cared. But there was another problem she hadn't told many people about. Lily. Sarah wasn't Lily's biological mother. Mark had adopted Lily after Sarah married him. Now Mark was gone and the legal situation was complicated. A distant relative had already started asking questions about custody. "Some stranger could take her," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "She's all I have left of him." I didn't sleep that night. Mark had once told me something while we were sitting around a campfire years ago. "If anything ever happens to me," he had said, half joking, "look after them." "All right." At the time we laughed it off. But those words echoed in my head like a promise I never knew I had made. The solution came, to me in the quiet darkness before sunrise. Marriage. It sounded crazy, even wrong. But legally it would protect Sarah and Lily. They could stay in the house. The custody battle would stop. So the next morning I drove to Sarah's house. She opened the door looking confused. "I need to ask you something," I said. When I told her my idea, she stared at me like I had lost my mind. "You don't love me," she said quietly. "No," I admitted. "But I loved Mark, and he loved both of you." Silence filled the room. "I'm not asking for a real marriage," I continued. "Just something on paper. To protect you both." Tears filled her eyes. "You'd really do that?" "For him," I said. "And for Lily." She looked down the hallway where Lily was coloring at the kitchen table. After a long moment, Sarah nodded. And that was how we ended up standing in that courthouse on a gray afternoon, promising a life neither of us had imagined. The first months were awkward. We lived in the same house but like careful roommates. Separate rooms, quiet dinners. Conversations about bills, schedules, and Lily's school. But Lily slowly changed everything. At first she was shy around me. She always called me Mr. Daniel, like I was just another adult passing through her life. Then one evening while I was fixing the sink, she walked up beside me. "Mr. Daniel?" "Yeah, kiddo?" She held up a drawing. It was 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one medium, one small. "That's Mommy," she said, pointing. "That's me. And that's you." My throat tightened. "Where's your dad?" I asked softly. She looked at the empty corner of the page. "He's in the sky," she said. "But he told me you would take care of us." I didn't know what to say. Life slowly settled into something that almost felt normal. Sarah started smiling again. Not the forced kind she wore after the funeral, but real smiles that reached her eyes. We cooked dinner together, watched movies, helped Lily with homework. Months passed. One evening, Sarah and I sat on the porch while Lily slept inside. Fireflies blinked in the summer air. "You didn't just save us," Sarah said quietly. "You gave us a chance to breathe again." I looked down at my hands. I just kept a promise. She studied me for a moment. "You know something strange?" she said. "What?" "I used to think love was loud and dramatic like in movies. And now?" She smiled softly. Now I think it might be quieter than that. I didn't understand what she meant until the night Lily had a fever. Sarah had fallen asleep beside her bed after hours of worry. I sat in the chair across the room, watching the thermometer and changing cold towels. Around 3 in the morning, Lily opened her eyes. "Daddy?" The word froze the air. For a moment she looked confused, like she had woken from a dream. Then she saw me, and instead of correcting herself, she smiled. "Daddy," she repeated. My chest felt like it might burst. I glanced at Sarah sleeping beside the bed, her hand still resting gently on Lily's arm. Something inside me shifted in that quiet room. I realized this wasn't just a promise anymore. This was my family. A year after that courthouse wedding, Sarah and I stood in the backyard during Lily's birthday party. Balloons floated above the fence while children ran through the grass laughing. "You know," Sarah said, watching Lily chase bubbles, "when we got married I thought it was just survival." I nodded. "So did I." She turned toward me. "But somewhere along the way," she whispered, "it became something else." The sun dipped low, painting the sky gold. For the first time since the accident, the house didn't feel like a place of loss. It felt like home. And as Lily ran toward us, shouting for another slice of cake, I realized something Mark probably knew all along. Sometimes love doesn't arrive the way you expect. Sometimes it grows quietly out of loyalty, sacrifice, and the courage to stand beside people when life falls apart. And sometimes the promise you make for a friend becomes the greatest gift life could ever give you.